Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lilith Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Adama, and I'm here with the weekly Astro report for the week of March 22nd. So, so let's just get into the week. Let me talk about what's been going on with me. Like all of you, I'm sure that are watching, this is a collective issue, and so I feel like this is a great day to speak to the collective because we're literally all going through the same thing. I've been in quarantine for, I think it was like official, not this past week, so it's been almost 2 weeks now. And I would say like the first few days were difficult, but now I'm getting more used to it. And I mean, it helps that I'm able to process this time astrologically, and so that I can help all of you process it astrologically. And I think it really is a great time to reset. This week, we have officially Saturn in Aquarius that happened almost towards midnight early this morning. We have the new moon in Aries coming up this week. There's some interesting Pluto, Jupiter, Mars nodal aspects happening this week. So there is a lot to talk about in this weekly report. First, before I get any further into it, I want you guys to check out my new memberships that have launched. So if you love my collective weekly reports here on YouTube, you can get a written report by sign. I write them mainly for rising sign, and those are available below with a low monthly membership, $5.99 a month, cost of a coffee. I love I said that in like a New York accent, cost of a coffee. And also, if you love this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, show your support for Lilith Astro. So yes, going back into just everything going on. I want to touch upon Saturn in Aquarius because this is a huge deal. I touched upon it in my report last week if you also want to check that out too. But this really seeing even more of the events play out this week. Social isolation. And I was just talking about this with fellow astrologer Maria DeSimone. I was just on her podcast, and she had said social isolation is literally Saturn in Aquarius. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Every time we've been hearing it on the news, every time it's mentioned on social media, Saturn is the planet of restriction and, discipline. And Saturn will take away things in order to make you feel grateful and to make you cherish or work hard or get past a hurdle, and any blocks that you've had in your life. So in the sign of Aquarius, which literally rules the internet, which rules loose connections, which rules socializing, which rules, the people around you in your community, I think that all of us going through this social isolation is teaching us the value of community that we may not have had before, because we have just been very driven in our capitalist society, and in a society that's ruled by social media, that's ruled by dating apps, that's ruled by some things that are supposed to connect us, but generally they really don't. They separate us. And I think that through having this isolation and having less of a social contact, having less opportunities to be involved in your community, and then also doing social isolation as your civic duty and as a responsibility, is teaching you to care for the collective, and that your own actions reverberate on a collective scale. So I think that this time it's just in plain black and white right now. This is happening to everyone. Saturn in Aquarius is really that when it's entered now, and it's going to be in Aquarius until it retrogrades back into Capricorn in July. This is going to be a lesson in connection and cherishing the connections and cherishing our community. And I think it's not just on us too, it's our leaders and the people around us who are making decisions in Washington. For instance, if you're in the United States, I'll speak on that because I live here and I have the most experience with our government here. You know, from a nation that doesn't care as much right now about people who are homeless or people who are in need or people who are, you know, children who don't have money to buy food and essentially are relying on school lunches, things like that. I think these issues are all being brought up and they're all getting pushed to the surface, and this needed to really happen in order for our leaders to take action to help people and to essentially support the community. So it's just awful what is happening. I mean, we had the Pluto Saturn conjunction. That had a huge hand in coronavirus. We have a connection with Neptune. Just in general, just speaking on what has like brought about this astrologically, Neptune, which rules isolation and hospitals and disease and quarantine and things of those nature. We've had those energies at play. And now we have Saturn moving into Aquarius, and people are like, even New York City, literally, I think it was, now it's starting today, sorry, this Sunday today. The city is even further locked down. So all non-essential businesses have closed. If you were able to work from home, you can work from home. And it's just, everything's shut down. No one's really out on the streets. People are just staying home and in social isolation to prevent the spread of the virus. So it's doing your civic duty and caring about your community. And this is just really what it is. And I think this is a preview of what Saturn in Aquarius is teaching us when Saturn moves into Aquarius in December. Saturn is really teaching us the value of community and the value of the collective and the value of the people and the value of the people's needs and the value of, okay, well, if this is not meeting the needs of the collective and this is not meeting the needs of the people, we need to have a revolution. And so that's really the spirit of Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarian energy is revolutionary, and they're ruled by the planet Saturn. So Saturn in ancient astrology, modern astrologies are ruled by Uranus. But Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. And so Saturn is comfortable with teaching some lessons, just like he was comfortable in Capricorn that we've just been experiencing. So that is very interesting energy. It's huge energy as we start off this week. Very, very huge. And I'm just very, you know, it's just, you know, we have this Pluto-Saturn conjunction that has caused a lot of trauma and death and disease and difficulty with the collective. And all we can do, those that are remaining in isolation, is to, how can we reflect during this time and how can we get through this time and how can we maximize this time? Jupiter is still in Capricorn, so we're like dealing with closures, dealing with things being not available to us all the time. I went to the store and like things were cleared out. And Jupiter, when you have natal and Jupiter in Capricorn, you know how to be resourceful when there's nothing around. And so I really think that that's what Jupiter in this whole conglomeration is trying to teach us, as well as Saturn. So yes, as we start off the week, that's how we're starting off. Another great thing, I mean, I think Saturn in Aquarius is great. I'm so ready for it. I'm done with Saturn in Capricorn. I'm ready for the collective to be nurtured, and I'm ready for there to be some serious shifts in order to nurture our people and nurture planet Earth. So today we actually also have Venus sextile Neptune. And I think that this is an aspect where you are, and I'm speaking for the collective in terms of what I'm going through, and I feel it. It's my Chiron in the 12th. I feel like people have surrendered at this point. You're like, this is what life is right now. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to be. And with that Venus sextile Neptune, I think it's while you're at home, or while you're in your situation, whatever it may be, if it's finding, Venus is in Taurus, Venus is in its home sign, finding that goodness, finding that indulgence, finding what makes you happy, even if it's small, even if it's little, even if it's, the dinner you have made last night, or I mean, I indulged in some new makeup. Just little things like that that sparked up my day, even though I'm in seclusion, that Neptune in Pisces, in seclusion and isolation. I found something that it was brought a little bit of joy to my day. So Sunday, it's really rough. I'm not downplaying how rough it is, but I think on this day we can all take a moment to try to find a small spark that makes us happy. So on Monday, there's some challenging aspects happening. So the Sun in Aries will be squaring the nodes. North Node is in Cancer, and the South Node is in Capricorn. And also, Mars will be conjunct Pluto. So, yes, I think, coming off of this weekend where there's been more of a shutdown, specifically in some major cities in the U.S. that are, especially where I live, New York, which is literally like the epicenter right now. I think on Monday, there's going to be even more shutdowns from other cities that may be experiencing a hike in the coronavirus. I think people will, Mars is the planet of action, the planet of, Mars can trigger conglomerations, and when Mars is aspecting a major planet like Pluto, it can trigger certain things. So I think that, and then we have the Sun square the nodes. And the square, is a challenging aspect in the sense that it causes friction in order to make things happen, make things pop. So I think on Monday, and early this week, I think it'll be a little bit of a challenge. And I think the astrology of Saturn moving into Aquarius and practicing this social isolation is extremely important on early this week. I think everyone has gotten the message so far and how serious this is, but I think it's going to be even more important earlier in the week due to those two aspects, with Mars there and Pluto, and then the Sun squaring the nodes. And I think in your own life, personally, as a collective, I think it may be you may feel a bit of stress from the situation. I think you may be feeling, just triggered and not in the best mood from these aspects. And I think my best advice is to take some time out for yourself during the day, take some time off from the news, have yourself in self-quarantine, don't really go out, make sure you have everything you need, and just ride it out, and self-monitor and make sure you're feeling okay. Make sure you're feeling healthy. So that's my advice. And so the next day we have the new moon in Aries, and we've entered into spring equinox this week. It was a very quiet spring equinox shift. We all announced it, but it just was like, okay, spring is here, we're still inside, and now we're going through something on a collective scale that we've never gone through before. And so that was a little bit quiet, and I think that this new moon in Aries, that's going to be a little bit of a quiet shift. I don't recommend starting anything new, starting new initiatives on the new moon of Aries. I don't recommend charging ahead. This is because we are actually still in shadow until the end of the week on Friday. But there are some challenging aspects to this new moon. And we are also going through a challenging time where we need to remain vigilant, and we need to remain inward, and we need to monitor ourselves and check in with ourselves. And that type of fire energy, you want to just go, 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 go. But I don't really recommend that at this new moon. I think this new moon is serving as a reset. and a celebration of being here, being present. Spring is coming. Spring is coming in a literal sense, or spring is here in a literal sense, but it's coming in a metaphorical sense, like we're going to get out of this situation. So I think it's a great day to reset your brain, maybe clean your apartment, clean your house, take a walk, but away from people, outside. Don't go around anybody. If you're in nature, if you happen to live in nature, which you're very lucky at this point, take a walk and really do a little meditation. I actually forgot to call out that on Monday evening, I'm going to be doing a new moon webinar with Laura Chung, who runs Kumi Dreams. So that should be very interesting. But there we're going to really talk about how we can reset ourselves during the new moon. And so the challenging aspects are the moon's going to square the nodes, the north and south node. The moon be conjunct the wounded healer Chiron. So yeah, there's some difficult aspects with this new moon. So I don't recommend like charging off ahead, like maybe past new moon in Aries. The new moon's gonna be squaring the nodes. The new moon will be conjunct Chiron. So let's keep it low key. Let's keep that energy inward, even though it's cardinal fire, it's Aries, we want to charge ahead. And so I think on Tuesday, some of us will be feeling like enough is enough. I want to break free, but this is still a time to settle into ourselves. So on Thursday the 26th, the moon will be out of Aries and into Taurus, where the moon is exalted. So that is a really nice energy. And we also will have the sun conjunct Lilith, true black moon Lilith in Aries. And so I think this will bring about, especially for you women out there, I think this will bring about some feelings on a collective scale of if some of the things in your life have come crashing down, or if you've lost your job, or if you've lost your livelihood, or if you're unsure of where your next check is going to come, or where food is going to come, or just because of this coronavirus issue, I think you may be faced with some choices to make of, should I now go more towards the path that I want to be on, versus if this was a path that we weren't sure about, or you were kind of stuffing it under the rug, or you were doing something to integrate with society more and not feel like, that you were going against what's normal. I think that this is a day that some of you may try to start that new business you've been thinking about, or brainstorm on, okay, what are ways that I can get myself through this? I can get myself out of it. I think that we will all see the power of women. I mean, a lot of our nurses, a lot of our doctors, a lot of our healthcare workers, people that run MTA, people that, are working at grocery store. Like I went to Trader Joe's the other day and I saw a pregnant woman working, and we're in a freaking outbreak. And I think we will really see the shining power of how women have helped and provided so much during this outbreak, and their contributions to serving our country, whether it be working in a grocery store during the pandemic so that we can all get our food, or if you are a doctor on the front lines in an ICU and trying to fight for ventilators. I think that we are really going to see more stories and more of that present when this Sun Lilith conjunction rolls around on Thursday. So on Saturday, Venus and the moon in Taurus are going to be trine Jupiter in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn on Saturday. And so Venus in its home sign, and we have the moon exalted in Taurus. And then we have them making a connection, and it's a soft aspect. Trine is something easy, I think, and it's kind of along the lines of the energy I mentioned today with Venus sextile Neptune. But I think on this day, and as this energy separates, I think that we will start to see a shift in people. I think the fear will start to subside a little bit more. I think people will have surrendered and accepted that this is what's going on, and what can I do to help. I think Venus in such a beautiful position, the moon in such a beautiful position, making these aspects to these major planets is really going to, I think, give some positivity to what's going on. I think maybe even some more solutions will come about to help aid this crisis and to help lessen the crisis. I think in your own personal lives, you may be feeling really good on this day or feeling really grateful. I think that, I think maybe there could be some improvements in your money situation. I think maybe you might find a gig that you can do that helps bring in some income, to help if you are feeling that is something that's a worry of yours. You may be a family member you were worried about may start to improve, and things may get better on this day and around this day. So this is a very nice aspect, especially as we start off the week with some tense aspects, as I mentioned before. And also on Saturday is the last day. Mercury will be moving out of shadow on the 29th, on Sunday. So we are nearing that as well. And yeah, this is an intense week. And I really also want to say a personal thank you to all of the doctors, all of the nurses, the healthcare professionals, firefighters, police officers, grocery store workers, bodega workers, people who work in restaurants, anyone that is working right now to keep our city going and to keep our people fed and to keep them okay. I really want to thank you. And it's like, we have all of our quarantine memes and that we're stuck in the house, but I know that some of you would give to be stuck in the house right now. And so I'm definitely super grateful for these people. And they deserve, everything from us and our kindness and our respect. And I also wanted to link two charities below, No Kid Hungry and NYC Cares. And there you can donate money to children who are homeless and in need and do not have access to food, especially during this time because school is closed. And so a lot of children in New York City specifically too, I'm sure this is the case around the country, don't have access to food unless they go to school, because they are in need. So don't forget to check that out. Donate below if you'd like to. And thanks so much for watching the weekly. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside, stay home. Enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your family, and look out for each other, because that's what Saturn and Aquarius is teaching us. Bye.